Digimon Story Time Stranger is the next installment in the Digimon franchise that seems to be taking things to the next level. For those that don't know, Digimon has a couple different running series, mainly the Digimon Story series, which we will be talking about today, as well as the Digimon World series, which is more in line with what I think a lot of people would associate Digimon with, the sort of V-Pet monster race. Digimon Story games, on the other hand, are Digimon's version of a monster-taming, story-driven RPG where you can collect and utilize a wide array of Digimon in combat, evolve them, and adventure with them. Now, it's inevitable that whenever Digimon is mentioned, especially a new game, Pokemon usually enters the conversation, and today I want to talk about why the recent release date reveal for Digimon Story Time Stranger was a genius decision, and honestly, the most tactical thing I've seen Bandai Namco do with the franchise on the video game end of things ever. So with that being said, make sure to sit back, relax, subscribe for more monster taming content, get your Digivice ready, and let's dive in. Okay, so a week before the Digimon release date announcement took place at the PlayStation State of Play, we got the release date of Pokemon Legends ZA, which was confirmed for October 16th, 2025. Now, we've actually been following the development of this game for over 4 years on this channel. However, it didn't actually have an official name or release window until very recently. Once it was officially revealed as Digimon Story Time Stranger, we were given a release window of 2025, which a lot of people, including myself, were wondering when exactly this game would come out and how it would position itself to a Pokemon launch. A lot of people like to say that Pokemon and Digimon aren't really competition with each other because Digimon Story honestly plays more like Shin Megami Tensei or Persona. However, when it comes to the way the general public remembers Digimon and how this game is going to be received and discussed in the West, I guarantee you that there are going to be way more comparisons to Pokemon than to the previously mentioned games, and this could actually be a good thing for the franchise, and I'll explain why. So first of all, there are a lot of people who aren't really feeling Pokemon lately, whether it be because they're not satisfied with the new games, or the Palworld lawsuit situation, or the Dexit situation, or whatever. And whether or not we agree or disagree with that, the fact is there are a lot of people who are just looking for alternatives. Furthermore, there are a lot of avid Pokemon fans that want to experience other monster taming games as well, whether that be to supplement their Pokemon fix or what have you. I'd say there's no better franchise to expand people's monster taming horizons than Digimon, one that's steeped in nostalgia, and most Pokemon fans remember. Now, back to what I was saying about when we received the release window, I had speculated that once Legends had its release date, that Digimon would bring forth its own, because it was very likely that they were actually waiting for Pokemon to release theirs in order to not get overshadowed, because again, even if it won't play exactly like a Pokemon game, it's still a monster taming RPG, and let's not kid ourselves, Pokemon has had a monopoly on this type of game for many years. Just to put the whole idea that they're not in competition to bed, Palworld plays even less like Pokemon than Persona or Shin Megami Tensei or Digimon Story, and clearly they were deemed as a threat, and I think that Bandai Namco knows this and made a tactical decision to withhold a release date until they knew exactly what they were working with. Now, on a surface level, October 3rd, the Digimon Story Time Stranger release date, might not sound like the best time to launch because of its proximity to Pokemon's release date only 13 years later. However, I think this is probably one of the most perfect times to release their game, and quite the bold decision, but let me explain. So while yes, there will be some conflicts in terms of people who only want to choose one of these two games. However, like I said, there is a very large market for people who probably aren't going to buy Legends and are actively looking for monster taming alternatives. Furthermore, every time Legends is mentioned anywhere ever, there is always mention about people complaining about the game, whether it's the fact that they don't think it's graphically up to snuff or that it's not going to be good or whatever. Again, I'm reserving my opinions for the game once it actually comes out and I can experience it, but this is a very large sentiment, even if it's not the majority of the Pokemon fan base, because even if it's only a fraction of really vocal fans, a fraction of a shit ton of people is still a shit ton of people. The Pokemon fan base is massive. Leading up to Legends' release, it will undoubtedly have a lot of coverage, and these people who are not happy with the game will start to critique it, complain about it, and inevitably compare it to Digimon Story Time Stranger, saying that the animations look more lively, that the graphics is better, whatever. Now, personally, I do think that Digimon's presentation presentation does look better than Legends EA, and this isn't to bash on Legends or anything, it's just that in my opinion, the game seems to have more wow factor to it. But during the 2 weeks leading up to Legends EA, with a brand new Digimon game coming out, a lot of people are going to talk about it and discuss it, and the discourse is going to play out very closely to what I'm stating here. I've been following Monstertainment games for 5.5 years at this point, and anytime there is a major non-Pokemon monster taming release, these types of discussions are commonplace and always end up fueling sales for those games, whether it be what happened with Temtem, Koromon, Nexomon, Cassette Beasts, Palworld, or in this case, Digimon Story Time Stranger. There's also a very good chance that Legends ZA gets data mined, and if there's anything that people don't like about the data mine, it's just going to fuel comparisons even further, and Digimon Story Time Stranger will be fresh out of its release at that point. Now, this could all just be coincidental, and I might just be looking too far into this, but I think there's someone over at Bandai Namco that knows that every time a Pokemon game is released, there's usually a big controversy, then comparisons to other monster taming games, then an influx in sales for those monster taming games, and I think that they're trying to position themselves in a place where they might just so happen to be releasing when the controversy is at its highest. They're hoping that people who are boycotting Pokemon Legends or the franchise as a whole will buy their game on launch, then more people will trickle in as discourse surrounding the whole Pokemon versus Digimon debate intensifies. Then if any data mine or pirated versions of Legends are distributed, this might also incite more drama, which would lead to potentially more sales for them, all culminating in the actual release of Legends ZA, where I'm sure there will be bugs on launch and people who have been on the fence about buying the game will see these clips on YouTube, like with what happened with Scarlet and Violet, and then we'll just end up buying Digimon instead. Now, I'm not saying that any of these are necessarily going to happen. However, I do think that this is, again, a tactical decision they've made with regards to the release date, and I think based on the history of monster taming releases, it is a very bold yet wise decision on their part. Most monster taming games that try to do something like this would fail miserably. However, another large multi-billion-dollar franchise with an iconic character base that also has a nostalgia factor is probably the best type of game to do this. All in all, I do think that this next Digimon game is going to sell pretty well. I don't think it's going to outsell Pokemon or Palworld or anything. And I think this strategic release date will allow Bandai to get a specific demographic of the Pokemon community rather than the whole Pokemon community itself. But I think that if the game could sell even 1 or 2 million copies, that's going to be a major win for the genre as a whole. So yeah, all in all, I think that Digimon actually made a pretty wise, but I will say somewhat risky decision. And let me just reiterate, because a lot of people on the internet like to either not watch a video fully before commenting or misinterpret what people have to say. But nowhere in this video have I stated that I think Legends is going to be bad, nor have I stated that it looks horrible or anything like that. I'm simply commenting on the discourse that I see surrounding the game, especially in the context of other monster taming games, and I'm reserving my own opinions for when the games actually come out. So if you're about to write a comment about how I'm hating on Pokemon, you suck, but you should still subscribe to my channel. But yeah, all in all, I'm excited for the rest of this year. I think we're gonna have a lot of monster taming fun, so make sure to join us so you're up to date on everything. And yeah, special thanks to our supporters, especially Candy Marunci, Tragsoft, Wrathful Beast, Chronomon, and Nemo, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.